Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Chris Hoffman.
And I'm Kelsey Metzger. This morning on Daybreak, we'll bring you the latest on the new restaurant on campus, as well as the concert that brought Pittsburghers to Bakery Square.
And it's been a mild start to the fall. We have the weather for you in the week ahead.
Daybreak starts right now.
Kelsey, the calendar says it's fall, but it really hasn't felt like it outside.
No, it's actually kind of a nice end to the summer, beginning start of fall, but Tashay is here right now with our morning outlook.
At the beginning of the week with chills and low temperatures, but today is a beautiful and sunny morning here at Point Park University. Weather for your morning commute, today we are looking at temperatures in the upper 70s. Wonderful for this time of the year now that it's fall. We are mostly sunny with winds at southeast 4 miles per hour. So I suggest you enjoy this sunny weather before we experience more fall-like temperatures. We'll take a look at the warm weather ahead later in the next show, but now let's send it over to Emily Brak, who has the latest national weather news.
The first part of a battle that could last years began late Monday night. U.S. and Arab allies launched airstrikes in Syria and Iraq to ultimately defeat and destroy ISIS. The first wave of airstrikes destroyed 2 ISIS armed vehicles in Syria and 1 in Iraq. They also took a toll on another terror group by killing the leader of the al-Qaeda-linked al-Nusra Front, known as the Turk. Syria has warned the U.S. not to undertake blind military attacks like they did in Iraq. Hannah Graham, a sophomore at the University of Virginia, is still missing. An arrest warrant is out for Jesse Matthew. He was the last person seen with Graham before her disappearance at the downtown mall in Charlottesville. The search continues for Graham, and police are offering a $50,000 reward for information that could lead her back home. Omar Gonzalez jumped the fence with 2 knives in his pocket and made it into the White House before getting caught. Secret Service interviewed him twice prior to this event about possibly targeting the White House and determined he was no threat. An ex-UPS employee showed up to work a day after he was fired in Birmingham, Alabama, to shoot 2 bosses and then himself. All 3 died at the scene. Ontarovirus D68 is sending children with breathing problems to the hospital. The virus has swept through 30 states since mid-August. What makes the virus different from others is its vicious symptoms. Instead of just causing a summer cold, it sends children into the intensive care unit struggling to breathe. That's all I have for national news. Let's send it over to Kelsey and Chris, who have the local look.
Thanks, Emily. James Hill once again is joining us here in studio.
What came from the gubernatorial debate earlier this week?
Another funny thing, me and Kelsey, we had like a 2-minute talk of how to say gubernatorial. Kelsey knows better than I do, but it was a pretty good debate, all things considered. Now, the hour-long debate, it was about in front of just under 2,000 people. And even though there were some big topics talked about, Governor Corbett actually said his name is Terry Madonna. He's the director of Franklin Marshall College's Center for Politics and Public Affairs. They're the ones who made this new poll we're going to talk about. He actually called it, and I'm going to quote this, Governor Corbett's best debate to date. That's a tongue twister there. But even though Governor Corbett, he's actually just about at the end of his run, he's still looking at what looks like a 20-point deficit, all things considered, compared to Tom Wolf. Now, this is the same question we asked a little bit earlier, a couple weeks ago on Daybreak, that if you were going to vote today, who would you vote for? 54% of people say, 54% of registered voters for that matter, say they would vote for Tom Wolf. 34% say they would vote for Governor Corbett, with 12% undecided. Even if you would give Governor Corbett that 12%, he would still be, of course, well underneath Tom Wolf's 54% or 20-point lead. So we actually need to get some of the Wolf supporters on his side. Another big thing that people are talking about is here in the city of Pittsburgh, we just released our 2015 budget. The 2015 budget, it's actually going to be calling for $505.9 million for that total budget there. But when many people are talking about, Chris, it's that there's going to be a property tax increase as well.
Now, James, one of the biggest things you said was Tom Corbett is trying to promise a better PA. What exactly does he mean by this?
Oh, yeah, Chris, that was actually the exact quote he used. He said, I want to give them, referring to his 2 new grandchildren, a better Pennsylvania. What Governor Corbett's running into trouble with, he hasn't really described what that means. And with that 20-point deficit, he's going to really have to make that clear to voters in the next coming weeks.
Now, by making it clear to voters, is this something we could see him talk more in depth about in the second debate?
Well, I mean, honestly, he's running out of time. And from my perspective, it doesn't look like Governor Corbett has a clear plan. Tom Wolf, he has a lot of things to attack Governor Corbett on. And all those things, while in the scheme of things they're small, they seem big to voters. So he's really going to have to reassert his authority as governor to put Tom Wolf down and to talk about all the good things he's done for the state.
Now, one of the big things we've seen Tom Wolf hit Governor Corbett with in the ads has been education.
Yeah.
What else can he really hit him with?
Well, education's been the number one thing. That's no mistake. However, drilling and taxes on our natural gas industries, there have been another very large thing. Now, Pennsylvania, it's actually grown to become the second largest natural gas producer in the United States. However, Tom Wolf, he wants to see a 5% servants tax added to the gas industries, which he says will create an extra $1 billion in revenue. In retrospect, Tom Corbett, he also said that they have already actually put a tax on them that generated $225 million last year. It's a lot less than $1 billion, so he's going to really have to make up his mind about that. The other big thing that he said that I can't imagine is going to be good for him at all, Governor Corbett said he actually doesn't think Pennsylvania should boost its minimum wage. He thinks it should stay at the state mandated, the federal mandate, $7.25. Tom Wolf said he wants to raise it to $10.10 actually. So that's another thing he's really going to have to reassert himself from. I can't see him doing well after making such an assertion.
Now, looking at locally, the Allegheny County just passed the budget for
$500
million.
Yeah, $505.9 million for the city of Pittsburgh's 2015 financial budget. However, what that's looking at that has a lot of people talking is that tax increase, 0.5% on tax owners. Well, on property owners, while that's going to raise what they're saying is about $8 million, it equivalates to about $40 per property owner in the city. A lot of people, no one likes higher taxes, Chris, and a lot of people are talking about that. Mayor Peduto, he's saying it's going to cover a deficit left by his predecessor, of course, Luke Ravenstahl.
All right, thanks, James. Once again, for all the political stuff, we'll see you next week as well. Coming up on Daybreak, we have the close-up look at the new restaurant to hit campus.